What's up, guys? So today we got a question that I know is going to resonate with a lot of you. It's from Jeff. He says he wants to get better at triangles, but his issue is he has short legs. So how do you get better at triangles with short legs? And he says he's 5'7", he has a stocky, muscular build, and his legs just don't seem to want to get into that triangle position. He has a lot of trouble getting the ankle locked behind the knee, right? And he says that, he's wondering if I have any ideas on stretches or anything that might be able to help him deal with this situation. So, Jeff, thanks for the question, brother. And, I connect with you a little bit on this as well. I'm not as short as you. I'm about 6 foot tall, but I was never really blessed with the flexibility needed for a good triangle. Like when I started jiu-jitsu, even back when I was a kid, and I used to do like taekwondo when I first started doing martial arts, I couldn't do the high kicks and stuff because my legs were so stiff. I remember going to a physical when I was in beginning high school sports, and the doctor even told me, man, you have really tight legs, like tight quadriceps and everything else. And I was like, great, doc, well, can you tell me what to do? And he was like, stretch. I'm like, thanks a lot. Doesn't really help me. But I've always had really tight legs and tight hips, just as a kid. And so when I started doing jiu-jitsu, I had tight legs, tight hips, plus I had a meniscus tear from doing high school sports that was still there. And so when I would try to use my right leg to lock over, the right leg is the hammer leg in the triangle, it didn't really want to work. And so I had to use my left leg as the hammer leg, which wasn't honestly that bad because I got better at doing the triangle on the other side. So most people were used to the one side. But again, I just wasn't very good at the triangle, right? And then getting into it, compounding this all with, I have a long torso and shorter legs for my height. So a lot of things were not working for me with the triangle. Now, I got better with the triangle, but it wasn't because I got better with the actual triangle submission. So one of the things that helped me out was to identify the triangle as a position, right? A platform to attack from. Because to sort of categorize the triangle solely as a submission is a bit of a misnomer, right? Because it's so much more than that. Like the triangle the position itself, just locking the leg over top can lead to Oma Platas, can lead to wrist locks. There's different chokes you can use there. There's, arm bars from there. There's a lot of submissions and sweeps and attacks from that position. And so one of the things that really helped me out was to look at the triangle not as a submission itself, but as a position, right? And this way I could launch so many other things from there. And what that did was, a lot of times for me, with my game, I used to use the triangle as a platform to attack Oma Platas, right? Because a lot of times I couldn't get the straight Oma Plata from guard, but I could go to the triangle, and a lot of times people go up to defend, boom, I attacked Oma Plata. Now, when I started doing that, when I had those options, then I had the ability to sort of play in a more comfortable position, because when I would try to go for the triangle, just to attack with the triangle itself, I knew that I wasn't going to get the triangle submission, and so therefore it kind of like, I got into a panic mode. And when you get into a panic mode, you can't be calm, cool, and collected and really make the best decisions. And so a lot of times I had struggled with it. But if I knew that I had a lot of other attacks from that position, I was able to kind of relax a little bit. I was able to play a lot more comfortably. And I noticed, one, I would get the sweeps and the other submissions that were available, but I would also hit the triangle choke more often. This is one reason why Chad, my buddy, that obviously most of you guys know, he's so good at triangles, because like when we were doing we filmed a video series on my website for doing some of his basic triangle stuff, and he was going through all these different weird wrist locks and attacks I'd never seen before, but he had kind of went down that rabbit hole, and the depth of his game in that triangle position, right, is deep, and he has a lot of attacks from that position, and that's why he can sit there in the triangle, and if he gets you there, you may be worried about the choke, but he has a ton of other stuff from there that he can attack you with, and that's why his triangle game is so good. And so that's what I would say to you first, right? Don't look at the triangle as a submission. Look at it as a position with the potential for a triangle choke, but there's so much more there. And so it might be beneficial for your game to go with Oma Platas like I did, or maybe attack with the arm bar, or maybe go for something else that's there. And then by doing that, it might make your triangle choke game better. So that's the first thing I would say, is do that. Now, as far as stretches go, there are definitely some stretches that you can do to loosen up your hips and loosen up your legs and everything else. I actually recently posted a video of, I think it's like 8 or 9 stretches you can go through. It's the ones that I use at the end of training, and a lot of them are wall stretches where you're like letting your legs lie out to sort of stretch those legs out, and you're doing different things to loosen up the hips. Try those stretches out for a month. Like, do them once a day for a month and see how your legs feel as far as moving in. I've had a couple of my students just that one wall stretch where we let the legs lie out. I had one of the guys he was a bigger guy and he had really tight legs, and he couldn't get his legs in the armbar position. Like, he's just so darn tight, wound up, because he sits a lot at work. And I had him do that for 2 minutes, and then we came back and had him do the arm bar, and he was able to swing his legs right in place, no problem. So if you have tight legs or really tight muscles there and you're having trouble moving them around, that might be beneficial. But Jeff, start with first using the triangle as a platform to attack from rather than just a submission. See how that works with you, and then if you need some stretches, if you feel like you're really tight down there, try those stretches that I put up on the channel and see if those help. So brother, thank you for the question, and I hope that helps.